朋友们，最新头条：美国知名的保守派活动人士、总统川普的政治盟友查理柯克10号在犹他州的奥勒姆市犹他山谷大学演讲时遭到枪击身亡，终年31岁。枪击事件发生在当天中午12点10分左右。根据当地媒体发布的现场视频，枪击时柯克身穿白色圆领衫，正坐在户外搭建的讲台中央。突然呢，一声枪响，柯克用手捂着脖子，现场一片混乱，人们四散逃开。事发后约3小时，川普就在社交媒体发文说柯克已经死亡，并向他的妻子和家人致以慰问。川普同时下令全国降半旗致哀，一直持续到14号的傍晚6点。美国联邦调查局的局长帕特尔当天傍晚在社交媒体发文说，枪杀柯克的嫌疑人已经落网了。柯克是当前美国非常活跃的政治活动人士，他是保守派非营利组织美国转折点的联合创始人，也是川普让美国再次伟大 MAGA 支持者阵营中最具影响力的网红之一。柯克此次到访的犹他山谷大学是其所谓证明我错了巡回演讲的一站。根据活动设讲，柯克邀请观众上台和他一起辩论政治理念。那么以上是整个事件的基本情况，那怎么看这个事情呢？我简短说几句。首先第一点，美国在内战的路上大踏步前进。我们都知道，政治它是妥协的艺术，西方选票制国家最喜欢标榜自己政治文明程度高、政治素养高，通过选票可以消灭潜在的暴力。可实际情况是什么样的？两党的矛盾根本就无法调和，以至于尖锐到不得不通过肉体消灭的方式来解决，说明传统的西方政治已经彻底失效了，彻底的失灵了。那既然解决不了问题，那就解决制造出问题的人。其实暗杀是美国的传统，以前也屡见不鲜，最著名的就是马丁·路德·金跟肯尼迪，川普自己也被干过一次。那么现在就轮到他的小迷弟来挨这个枪指了。今天你杀我共和党柯克，明天我杀你民主党纽森，两边互相的报复升级，最后警察、军队都会牵扯进来，终极解决方案那就是内战，然后分家，各自成立新的国家。大家不要觉得不可能，其实内战就是这样一步一步的升级的，而不是一蹴而就。现在我看不到任何刹车的迹象，反而这一次有人在猛踩油门。第二这个叫柯克的倒霉蛋也是自己作死，他是反对控枪的坚定支持者。之前美国发生过大规模枪击案，当时有人问他对于枪支的看法，他说为了实现人人拥枪自由的目标和理想，这些都是可以接受的代价。那么现在柯克自己也成了那个代价，那这一次你要血祭自己，那大家为了你的崇高理想而拍手称快。第三世界正在变乱，尤其是发达国家，美国搞暗杀内斗，加拿大被印度人夺舍，在欧洲法国政府垮台了，德国选择的连续7个候选人被暗杀，英国根本不用说了，已经成了穆斯林国家，都没必要提了。而东亚这边，日本首相乱糟糟的下台，韩国的影戏院闹剧刚刚结束，所以发达国家全都乱了。而发展中国家也不省心尼泊尔现在也乱了，前总理的老婆都被暴民给拖出来烧死了。而印尼也乱了，中东这边以色列刚刚炸了卡塔尔，所以你会发现世界正朝着无序的混乱一路狂飙。我想如果不是有中国以超强的军力稳坐东亚，但凡我们实力打个半折，第3次世界大战可能就已经打起来了。接下来我们看看美国媒体的相关报道以及川普的讲话。
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory, may God watch over his family, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
And good evening. Tonight, a new chapter in this era of political violence. Conservative political activist Charlie Kirk is dead, assassinated while speaking on a college campus in Utah. These videos capture the chaos in the crowd as at least one gunshot rang out, striking Kirk near his neck. It happened in broad daylight in front of a large crowd of thousands. Kirk had been talking about mass shootings when the shot was fired. Little is known about the shooter, but moments ago, authorities said they have a person of interest now in custody, but the investigation is ongoing. The president calling Kirk great and even legendary. Called a MAGA influencer, Kirk was a major supporter of President Trump and helped build his 2024 coalition with young people. The 31-year-old had a massive following, but was divisive at times, often leaning into thorny political issues with provocative commentary. At least 1,000 people reportedly signed a petition to try and stop him from speaking at the event today. Tonight, political leaders from both parties condemning the attack as America reels from another political assassination. We have team coverage across the country, and we begin with Liz Kreutz. And Liz, we have new information tonight just in about that shooter.
Yeah, Tom, that's right. FBI Director Kash Patel has just posted that the suspect in the shooting today is now in custody, while the governor of Utah has just said at a press conference they have a person of interest. This update coming after another horrific day of political violence in America. Hundreds of people were there at Utah Valley University to see conservative activist Charlie Kirk, who had just thrown hats to the cheering crowd and posted on X, "We are so back," touting the first stop on what he called the American Comeback Tour. The 31-year-old conservative star who rallied young people behind President Trump. He just started talking there under that white tent when witnesses say one shot rang out. The shooting was captured on video and is too disturbing to show. Immediately, crowds started running for cover.
We just heard an immediate pop. We're like, what's going on here? And then after that pop, we just saw him in his neck. We saw him fall backward.
I was the last one standing because I couldn't quite believe. I thought maybe it was a stunt. I'm still shaking and I'm still crying. I love Charlie Kirk. He's awesome. And I prayed for him and his family.
Brendan says he was just 15 feet away. He says Kirk was answering audience questions. He had just been asked about mass shootings when the shot was fired.
He was actually just talking about mass shootings, too, which is crazy, with the trans shooting that just happened recently with the trans shooter. And as soon as he got done answering the question, we heard a loud pop. He got hit in the left side of his neck and dropped. We all dropped. His security dragged him out of there, and we just ran. I was more angry, I would say, than terrified. You know, we hear all the time that we're the problem, we're the violent ones, we're the issue, and yet this is the second mass, shooting attempt on a political figure. First Donald Trump, now we have Charlie Kirk.
Kim had come to see Kirk with her daughter Bentley.
It was scary because you don't know if it's real, if it's not, but you just have to go with your gut and get out of there.
Former Congressman Jason Chavez was also there with his family.
People came out to hear the dialogue, the back and forth. Ask him anything. That's what Turning Point and Charlie Kirk's all about. Ask him anything. In the midst of that, the shot rang out.
He says everyone started running and screaming.
And I just hope and pray that somehow, some way, he survives this.
But just before 5 this afternoon, President Trump posting the tragic news. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. In the House, a moment of silence.
I'm just going to state the obvious here. This is detestable, what's happened. Political violence has become all too common in American society, and this is not who we are. Political violence must be called out, and it has to stop.
The university says the gunman fired from a building 200 yards away. Late tonight, FBI Director Kash Patel saying they have a subject for the horrific shooting in custody, while Utah's governor described a person of interest.
We have a person of interest in custody that is being interviewed right now.
The only information we have on the suspect, the possible shooter, is taken from closed-circuit TV here on campus. We do have that. We're analyzing it, but it is security camera footage, so you can kind of guess what the quality of that is. But we do know dressed in all dark clothing. But we don't have much better description other than that.
So many witnesses saying they saw no security at the event before the assassination.
There was no checkpoints, nothing to get in here. Everyone was just able to walk in here. I'm like, I have my backpack. I'm like, if I wanted to, I could just bring a gun with me.
Charlie Kirk survived by his wife and 2 young children. His organization, Turning Point USA, asking that everyone keep his family and loved ones in their prayers.
All right, Liz joins us now live. Liz, there in your report, you were talking about the lack of security. What more do we know about the event that was being hosted there on the college campus?
Yeah, Tom, well, it started around noon local time there, and it was open to both students and the public, and witnesses were saying there was not a lot of security there. This was part of the American Comeback Tour, where Charlie Kirk was going to be going and speaking and answering questions at different college campuses. This was the very start of that tour for the start of the fall semester, Tom.
All right, Liz Croach leading us off. There have been a lot of late developments in this investigation, so I want to get to Kelly O'Donnell. Kelly, you've been talking to your sources at the FBI. What are they telling you?
Well, senior officials there say that they believe the person who is in custody is the person responsible for the death of Charlie Kirk. Much more work still to be done. But, Tom, as you've seen this today, it has been at times confusing. In the initial aftermath of the shooting itself, which is a terrible jolt to all who were present, the chaos of people running away. And there was one older man who was taken into custody. He has been charged locally with an obstruction charge and was described described to me by law enforcement as someone who was well known to them, as someone who's been charged with various offenses, not violent, in the local community. So that, at first, drew a lot of attention. But now it is clear the FBI and top officials, including the governor, separating that person is not believed to have anything to do with the shooting. And so now the question is, what can authorities look at? They've indicated there is video, however grainy it may be. They will be searching for additional sources of video, whether that's fixed security cameras or people using their phones and so forth, to try to analyze that, to diagram the shooting, and then to pour into the life of the person who is currently considered a person of interest. Their phones, their electronics, trying to learn where did they get a weapon, what type of weapon, and what motivations, if any, can be discerned.
All right, Kelly, our thanks to you. Let's go live to the scene now. Mike Hedrick with our NBC affiliate KSL in Salt Lake City is there tonight. Mike, investigators, police doing two things right now, trying to collect clues, but also making sure all those students are safe.
Yeah, and it is a heavy load that they have to bear right now. On any given day, Tom, you're going to have 40,000 plus students who are coming on campus here. The case today with this situation, you had an extra 1,000 to 1,500 people who were here to see this all play out. And again, tragic, surreal, that's how most people explain the situation today. You look behind me and you see some of the buildings here. That's what police were forced to do for hours. They went into every building, every room. They cleared every single one of them. You had choppers above. You had drones. They did everything they could to find this shooter. Yes, it seems a little quiet right now, but the police presence is heavy. Tom?
All right, Mike Hedrick for us. Mike, we thank you for that. Just moments after the shooting, I spoke by phone with a man named Justin Hicken, who was at the event at Utah Valley University and witnessed what happened.
I was about 20 yards away on Charlie's left. There were thousands of people there. Unfortunately, there was no metal detectors. There was there was security by Charlie, but, you know, anybody could have shown up with whatever, unfortunately. There was someone who stepped up, ironically, coincidentally, who asked a question about mass shootings. And about 60 to 90 seconds in, we heard a big loud shot. I saw a bunch of blood come out of Charlie. I saw his body kind of kick back and go limp, and everybody dropped to the ground. And luckily, there were no other bullets sprayed into the crowd because nobody was really able to go anywhere.
When you heard the shot, did it sound like it was close, near to where he was speaking, or did it sound like it was coming from afar, maybe in the back of the crowd, or could you tell?
No, it sounded like it was the back of the crowd. I don't know, though. It's like it must have been closer, but then again, it's like if it was that close, how did nobody else, see this man pulling a gun out of his, side or pocket or whatever?
We sort of all witnessed what happened to President Trump when he was on the campaign trail in Pennsylvania, and what happened there. When this was happening, I mean, did it kind of register in your head, someone's trying to kill Charlie Kirk?
Oh, yeah, immediately. I mean, for a split second, you kind of like, wait a minute, is this really happening? And, you saw the amount of blood that came out upon the initial shot, and you knew that it did not look good.
Witnessed by thousands there. Charlie Kirk was an early and vocal supporter of Donald Trump. He used his large following of young voters to help power the conservative movement and cement his place in the MAGA movement and with President Trump. Kristen Welker has more.
Charlie Kirk's influence in the MAGA movement and the Trump administration was monumental. His power and influence extending from college campuses all the way to the White House.
Visiting it yesterday was very moving.
Kirk was a guest at the White House back in May, sharing his experience on YouTube.
I got to see the original copy of the Declaration of Independence.
A close champion of the president, Kirk was a constant presence at rallies, earning a speaking spot at the Republican convention.
Donald Trump refuses to accept this fake, pathetic, mutilated version of the American dream.
Kirk had built a following of millions of online supporters, energizing young people, helping President Trump's re-election.
And I want to express my tremendous gratitude to Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk helped fund the conservative organization Turning Point USA in 2012, within years turning it into a major political force, raising hundreds of millions of dollars. His support of President Trump goes all the way back to Mr. Trump's campaign in 2016, when he helped him win the White House for the first time. Kirk then devoted his focus to getting more Republicans elected to office. Kirk built his own political empire by trying to win over liberal audiences on college campuses, and his own podcast where he interviewed politicians from both parties. But it was President Trump who Kirk focused his energy on, loyalty the president has always valued.
I truly believe that President Trump, throughout these last couple of years, overcoming all these odds, is one of the greatest stories ever told. And let's just say thank you, God, for giving us Donald Trump and giving our country back.
Charlie Kirk was just 18 years old when he founded Turning Point USA. I spoke to a White House official who tells me everyone there is just in shock because they all had close ties to Charlie Kirk. Tom.
Kristen Welker for us. Kristen, we thank you. I want to bring in Tom Winter. Tom, so much of the focus now is going to be on security and protecting not only elected political officials, but anybody in politics.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. Just look at what we've gone through recently. We had 2 assassination attempts on President Trump. Those Minnesota lawmakers were targeted. Even that healthcare CEO shot on a New York City street. Tonight, law enforcement officials tell me this is an unprecedented environment, and the enormity of protecting all these high-profile figures and institutions all the time is the type of security challenge the country has not faced since 23 years and a day ago on 9/11. Events like today's at a college campus present serious challenges for local law enforcement to secure. The NYPD's top terrorism official warning that the threat environment is everything, everywhere, all at once, Tom.
And Tom, before you go, let's go back to the suspect they have in custody now. We know very little about him, but apparently wearing dark clothing and maybe seen on closed-circuit television?
That's right, Tom, and they're going to try to see if they have the gun on that person. They didn't quite address that at a briefing earlier today. On top of that, they're going to check what law enforcement calls their holdings, basically their files, to see whether or not they've come across this individual in the past.
Okay, Tom Winter for us. Tom, thank you.